I'm going back and rereading Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
I read it in college, and now I'm actually listening to it. I've got the Audible subscription and whatever, and so I'm listening to it, and it's just hitting me in a fresh way. You know, I encourage you if you haven't read something or listened to it and it impacted you, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, go back and listen to it again because you'll hear new stuff. But one of the things he talked about was knowing God, and he said one time he was presenting somewhere, and a guy came up to him afterwards and was talking about the Bible, and he was saying basically, this stuff you're teaching out of the Bible, it's not God, it's this, he was very negative about it. And he goes, man, one day I was out in the desert and I experienced God out in the desert, and it was like this and this and this. And C.S. Lewis said he was thinking about it, and he was thinking about knowing God, and he was thinking about the concept of I think he used the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
So he said, imagine the Atlantic Ocean. If you've gone to the Atlantic Ocean, you've been there, you've walked the beach, you've put your feet in the water, you've literally seen the Atlantic Ocean, you've had an experience with the Atlantic Ocean. But he said also what's also valid is an atlas or a map that you would look at as the Atlantic Ocean that will tell you, like, this is how big it is, and here are the coordinates to this island that's in the middle of the ocean, and all these different things. That is also true, but you can't have one without the other, right? Because you could be out in that ocean experiencing it, touching it, but not understanding it, and not even understanding the direction. Where am I at? What direction am I facing? Yet you're having a real encounter with it, yet your understanding is limited. Whereas you have an atlas, if all you do is just look at it and you have, the coordinates, and you have, you're just looking at it on paper or on a globe, you're missing to actually experience it.
Yeah.
So he talked about within our relationship with God, you think of the Bible in many ways almost like the atlas that's like helping you understand God, but then it's
your personal experience with him is something completely different.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah,
that's a good example.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about that?
The first thing that came to my mind too when you were talking about that is the idea that not everyone's experience with the Atlantic Ocean will be identical either, right? So if I go a certain day and I have my experience and you go another day, I might come to you and say, well, no, the ocean it's like glass. It's just so peaceful, and it's, the light glimmering off the surface and nothing breaking, and it's quiet and it's whatever. And someone else may go another day and go, no, it's not. It's the roar of the waves. It's the power of it. It's the crash. It's the birds everywhere, right? And so you can have two very different experiences, and they're both completely true. Just like it's true of God that he is both peaceful and powerful, it's true of the ocean. And one person may experience more of one thing or more of the other because God is also in tune with what we need from him in that moment. And so he's going to present himself in a different way.
Also think about what's under the surface.
Yeah.
Right? The Atlantic, like obviously you see the top of the water and you see all of that. But, if you were to go another level and you were to, get scuba gear and you were to start diving, you would start to see the beauty of what's under the water, what's under the surface, and I think it's the same with God. Like if you just standing back, looking, thinking that all you see is all there is. I think that's a lot of people, like, they've not really entered into involving God in every area of their life or seeing him in every area of their life. And when you think about even, again, the size of the ocean, I know we did a series one time called Fingerprints where we were talking about nature and science and just the percentage of the ocean that's completely undiscovered. Like, billions of people have lived and died and have never seen.
Yeah. It feels like a whole different universe.
Well, do you remember the percentage? I'm trying to remember. It was like 80% or something like that.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah.
That's never been seen.
Yeah.
So when you think about God going like, man, I can just look at a map, I can go put my toe in the water, or I can go deep.
Yeah.
And I can go deep and deep and deep. And even as I go deeper and deeper and deeper, there's more and more and more to be discovered. And I think, obviously, if God wanted us to just solve him, he would have designed it a certain way. But I think what God invites us into is to continue to dive deeper and deeper with him.